Hello, Boogie 28. I thought I would just respond as as a girl, girl gamer, all that good stuff, doing the Xbox. To your video on the topic of the girl gamer phenomena, which, as you detailed very well. Now, as far as the whole you worrying about your opinion being seen as misogynist or anything like that, I'll outright say that, you know what, in all honesty, your opinion is very balanced, very fair, you talk about equality, about inclusion, and about the fact that the one side of the geek culture should not be afraid of the other side because they're afraid that their whole thing, what they are passionate about, will somehow get altered. And I think that's a very important point. By the way, transgender, so that's an interesting dynamic for my personal life. As far as me interacting, I would honestly agree with you that I've never seen someone who's been, over-enthusiastic, except maybe in a couple of YouTube videos where that was more acting than anything. Even the more attractive women that are on Twitch are very passionate and very good, actually, about how they play video games. So that as well is kind of less... I think it's more of a perpetuating stereotype, I would honestly describe it as. And I think it's something that we need to think about. You've said it yourself, let's go with the statistic of 1 in 1,000. Yet you yourself have admitted that you've never seen someone like this. And you know what? A lot of the people that are probably commenting right now have been commenting in other scenarios, everywhere from the Dragon's Crown to sexism in video games is a really hot topic, have been trying to push back against this whole idea of their sphere of their passion being vulnerable to change. And that if any girl comes in to expose it, then it'll be altered and muddied. And that unfortunately goes across, as we've seen, it gives a bad scar to all women when you have these theoretical evil women that are just, they're playing games, and they're enthusiastic, and oh my god, I'm doing good, right? I mean, I hope I haven't died too many times. And this defensive group within the subculture uses the stereotype to attack the people that it's supposed to represent. And we've seen this many times. We've seen this during, honestly, the release of Dragon's Crown. That was more obvious about the elements of the one female reviewer who just gave it a 6.5 because of A, B, C, and D. Which, being A, it is very sexist, it is very sexually objectifying to women, sexually idolizing to men. It's just not a very good package. And that point A, or over there, was focused on, unfortunately, and it was a shame. And we saw the attacks of the response. And you're honestly not the first that has come to this conclusion that we should be inclusive. The show Jimquisition touched on it, and he actually talked about it in a recent episode about Saints Row, the Saints Row series, whereby the general inclusion of female gamers and of just utter craziness, but also having that equal ground between male and female, customization options, clothing options, storyline doesn't really differ much. Whatever gender, both gender have equal options at romances, that kind of stuff in video games is very good because it doesn't take away anything from the games. Instead, it only adds more and catches more and gets more people in and interested because they're not saying, oh, look, there's a copy of friggin' Bayonetta, a woman with giant boobs. Looks a little bit, a little bit extreme. I would honestly commend you as a female for just outright saying it. Hey, we're all geeks. Let's calm down. Let's all have fun. Let's all enjoy ourselves. Because I think that's what's really missing right now is I think there's honestly 3 sides to this whole commotion, and I think this conversation has really come up because of the fact of the whole sexism thing, whereby one is like, oh, there are these girl gamers that are really bad, and they're just kidding, and they're ruining everything for all the guys, and they're all gawking, And the other is, oh, there's being sexist this and sexist that, and it's not uncomfortable and it should be changed. And then there's the third, which are male, who are like, okay guys, some of the stuff that you're doing is kind of ridiculous. They actually have valid points. We should actually come together because we're pretty much all adults. Let's stop acting like children. And I would say you'd be part of the third group. And I commend you for that because a lot of YouTubers have actually started coming to that and been vocal about just how ridiculous it is that we have this weird separation in our subculture of male and female, where the male is thought of as the dominant thing and thus seems to act defensive over everything, every little change. And the females are just trying to push in but are either these silly women who have actually no interest in it and don't belong and don't even really care or know about what they're talking about within the collective of subculture, or are turned away from it entirely and afraid to because of the reaction of other men, because of the stereotype that I've talked about. So I commend you. I would not say that you're misogynist. I would not say... I think you have a good grasp of it. I wouldn't say that you're ignorant. I think you sum it up very well. I think in terms of you're focusing definitely on geek culture as a whole and the almost exclusion of women over this stereotype. And that's almost what it is, because I've never run into one, you've never run into one, a lot of people have not run into these. It's almost a YouTube myth that these women exist. And I think without having to dig too deep into the whole boiling pot of, oh, is this sexist or not, I think you touch on the actual problem and what should be happening from one side very importantly, and I think you do it very rationally. So I thank you very much. From one female gamer to, from one nerd to another nerd, because at the end of the day, nerd culture goes across all genders, across all sexualities, across all preferences, because we're all collective for one thing, as you've mentioned, as you've explained, as you pressed upon, and as what everyone else should be thinking about, is that at the end of the day, it's all about our passion. And our passion is geeky stuff, nerdy stuff. And from, I guess, one nerd to another, thank you for your opinion, and I don't have anything bad to say about it. I think you hit it pretty dang on the nail, and I hope there isn't any fallout for saying some rational thing about this argument. So, thank you very much. I love your YouTube videos. Please continue making them.